Well, Elliott, welcome to Noise11.com. I've just realised that in the last few weeks, or maybe 2 months ago, you've just had a 10th anniversary of the first album.
Yeah, we did. Weird. It really snuck up on us.
Were you
10
celebrating?
years.
What'd you do?
We did. We had a bit of a lead up to it, and in that we were digging through like old footage of making that record and putting things together, little clips for people to see. And then yeah, we did a re-release of the record with like the vinyl was like the you can do those things where it's like a swirly different color each record. They're all kind of individual. So we got to really delve back into it and reminisce. It was cool. It was weird the fact that it happened so quickly. But also it's funny to now think that it'll be, every 2 or 3 years we're going to have a 10th anniversary of a record now, and then eventually it'll be 15 years and it'll be 20 years. So it's kind of like, I guess it's nice to have the first anniversary of the records we've had so far done, because the rest of them probably won't feel as heavy hitting after, ticking through them.
No, but that's right. For the next 10 years, you'll be having 10th anniversaries, and then we're back to the 20th, and then you go for the next 10 years with 20th anniversaries. Now,
Yeah, the cycle begins.
yeah, if anything from the Beatles and the Rolling Stones we've learned, you're not allowed to do the box set until the 40th anniversary.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Good.
you've got
A few
to,
years ahead.
yeah, you got to just do the bonus disc or the live album or.
Okay, that's fine. Well, that's fine for me because I don't really like doing the looking back stuff because I feel like the nostalgia can just like put you in a bit of a hole. So the less we have to do of that, the more I'll be happy, I think. Looking forward is much better.
All right. Well, let's not talk about the nostalgia. Let's talk about the future. And let's start off with Waste a Day. Brand new song. It's already been premiered in shows. How many more are to come? And is this the start of a 2023 album?
It's the in between for us. So yeah, it's not going to be on whatever the next record is. It's more of us having, this in between track that we could release just to keep people kind of satisfied in between 0202, the last record, and what is going to be the next record. So it's just, to keep people snacked in between.
Yes. So is there going to be a 2023 album?
Yeah, we're working on it right now. How many songs are we in? I think we're probably maybe 7 songs in at the moment. We've been chipping away. In between, shows this year, we've just kind of been able to jump in the studio and hammer out a few tracks. But yeah, it's coming together pretty scarily quickly, which is exciting. We haven't got locked in any dates or anything. We haven't locked in a name or anything. We're pretty lazy in that's kind of the last thing we do after all the songs are put together. Then we look at the record and start to think about what to call it, etc. We put off those jobs until the very end, but it's all happening quite quickly, which is exciting. So yeah, 2023, fingers crossed, if everything goes to plan, should be the next record.
There was another song that I noticed in the set list that seemed to be hanging out there with no attachment to an album, Stampy.
Oh, okay, yeah, good sleuthing. That's actually the song itself is what do we call it? It's called The Day You Went Away. It's from the first record. We call it Stampy because when we made the demo, we wanted like the kick drum to sound like stamping feet, and so we mic'd the floor and whacked lots of shoes on the floor to make a stamping sound. And we didn't have a name of the song, so we called it Stampy on the demo. And then eventually, when it came to recording the record, we were like, well, we have to call it an actual, not a dumb name. We gave it a proper name, The Day You Went Away. But for set lists, still to this day, we write Stampy, which I think confuses a lot of people that still set lists and be like, I don't remember that track. But very good sleuthing.
Well, there's been 18 singles from this band, and pretty much, you can do an entire show of just A-sides, easily.
Yeah.
And there are quite a lot of songs. There's not, very many deep album cuts that you get into this. Is this because the singles are the familiarity that the audience know?
Yeah, I think we got into a habit with, the first three records, probably you, as a young band, you lean more onto wanting to hit those singles, because you're trying to get people to pay attention to you. You're trying to, if you're at a festival, you're trying to win them over. So you feel like those singles are the ones that are going to draw people in. We've actually had this conversation within the band now. The fact that we have this much material to fall back on and dig through, we do want to make more of an effort of digging back through deeper album cuts and giving maybe, true core fans those treats that we haven't given them recently on tours, where we have been just, hammering out singles. We kind of want to dig a little deeper. Just because, we have the material there now. It would be an injustice not to go back through and dig through and give people those little gems that they haven't heard in a while.
Is Lou LaRue therefore the favoured album? Go On, Freak Out. There's two album tracks that have been in the set list when no other album has been favoured.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of sit back and analyze it. A lot of the time, like, we get locked into almost like the way that an album that you love to listen to, and in order. Say you put a CD in the car and then you listen to it in order and it gets ingrained in your memory. Instinctively what song comes next. You hear it before it plays. For us, with set lists, a lot of the time we might have a set list and have 3 songs that we feel like we just have to play in that order, no matter where they come in the set list, because naturally they feel that way to us. So like for Go On and Freak Out, they might get married together, and then we get in a habit of putting them together that way. It's not really like a thought out thing for us. It's very much a like instinct or muscle memory. But like I said, we're definitely on this next run of shows, whenever it happens with, this next record, we're going to break things up and do things a bit differently just to keep things fresh, I think.
Well, I guess the first thing we get to see you with is Summersalt in 2023. What a great lineup, by the way. With Angus and Julia Stone, Ben Harper, City and Colour, Middle Kids, Alex the Astronaut. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of backstage fun with that one. I think there's going to be a lot of conversations going on because, it seems to be a very like-minded lineup.
Yeah, definitely. We're very excited. We know a few of them. We know Middle Kids and we know Alex the Astronaut. We haven't met the others, which is very exciting. Obviously, we grew up with a lot of their music, so there could be nerves, I think, at first, just saying hi backstage. But the fact that it is, a traveling festival kind of tour is really exciting for us, because, when you play the one-offs like Splendor or something, you might have a chance to catch some people's set and not others. You might run into some people backstage and not others. But the fact that this is a touring festival is exciting, because you get to actually hang out with people and actually get to know them, which is very, very cool for us. We're like I said, very excited.
Yeah, because I guess the backstage dynamic of shows like this, and the Red Hot Summers, the Summersalts, the By the Seas, is that everybody's sort of in that group out together at the back. It's not like big arena shows where the big stars off in their room and everybody else is delegated to their room. This is sort of like the backyard Barbie in a way, isn't it?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm putting my hopes up too high, but I imagine us all, playing beer pong or something out the back, and there being a bonfire, and someone's whipped out a guitar and is singing songs around the campfire or whatever. I hope if we get halfway to that type of vibe, I'll be stoked.
Well, I think you've just come across an idea for John Zachariah from Summersalt. I think what there should be is the beer pong event on stage between the acts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's high pressure. That's very high pressure.
Yeah. And we have the
bad.
Final playoff after the last band plays.
Okay, very good. I love it. I imagine fans eventually.
Yep, the elimination.
I feel like fans eventually will just be like, "Can you guys just stop playing and play a song? Can we see Big Jet playing? I don't want to watch the band play beer pong again." But it's probably not a bad idea. Maybe we should.
I don't know. I think I've watched enough reality TV to know that these days 7, 9, or 10 would pick up on a show like that.
Yeah, true. Very fair. Very fair.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty much exciting thing. What about solo plans? Have there ever been any talk of solo records within this group?
Oh, as in individual members?
Yeah,
No, no. I
including
think
yourself, Elliot, including yourself.
including myself. No. I don't know. I feel like I'm too the we've done writing for other artists and with other artists. But a lot of the time, like with my writing, mostly what I want to say through the music is so it's in the lane of the Rubens that I wouldn't see it any other way. We do, like I said, get to write with other artists and for other artists, which is fun. But what we have in the band, within the band, is so special to me, and I couldn't imagine. I mean, this is just me speaking off the cuff. So maybe one day, um, I couldn't imagine though breaking apart from it right now. And yeah, I know you don't have to break apart from it necessarily, but any song I write, I hear it as a Rubens song. I hear Sam singing it, and then it's kind of like hard to get away from that anyway.
Mm. You've had some great times in the studio. I mean, right at the very start, Dave Garn, working with him. Somebody who's worked with Paul McCartney, with Stevie Nicks. And, when you look up Dave and his credits, there's the Rubens slotted right in the middle of all those big names. That must be a bit of a pinch me factor whenever you see things like that.
Oh, totally, totally. That whole, first and second record experience working with him was so surreal. It was so strange seeing, that this guy and who we hadn't heard of at first, obviously, because we were so young and green, didn't know any music producers really, and then hear that he's interested in working with us, likes our music, look up who he's worked with, we're blown away. And then we didn't even have a record deal at the time. Our mate was managing us, and then we go over and decide to work with him. It was, yeah, it was, I think with so many artists in any profession, and just like, I think so many people working in whatever field it is can look back at a time that they were younger and realize how green and naive they were, and how much of a risk they took without realizing what they were risking. Like, we went over there with no money. He took on the record pro bono, because like I said, we didn't have a record deal. We didn't know what we were risking because we were so naive, but we kind of just jumped in head first and went for it. And we're happy to learn and see. But yeah, looking back on that time is quite hilarious, I think, to know what we were risking and to see where we are now. It's very special.
So if you listen to that first album, what would you change?
Well, the thing is, I listen to any song, any record that we've just put out. I would listen to it and think there's always things to change. The first record, I haven't listened to it in a while. I don't know. I think if I listen to it now, well, I mean, we listened to the reissue for the anniversary, and we felt more positively about it than we had than we did back then. Sorry. I think back then we were still kind of figuring out how to work together as a band in a studio. And so, that certain things that maybe we came out of it and weren't stoked with. But listening back to it now, when we did the reissue, we actually were messaging each other when we listened to the bounces, and kind of patting ourselves on the back, being like, wow, we were pretty young and naive, but what we did was kind of special. But yeah, I think the fact that we were able to do that and make mistakes and learn in the studio, and now be working our fifth record, is there's a lot of lessons along the way that we're very happy to have learned.
Well, lots of great music there, lots of great singles, songs that we know from beginning to end at one of your set lists these days. So looking forward to Summersalt in 2023, and fingers crossed for that beer pong. We want that to happen.
Yeah, fingers and toes, all crossed. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Elliot.
Thanks very much.